Hi guys, miren este greñero. Okay, so I'm gonna give it a minute to allow people to tune in. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm like, look at me looking all professional and stuff. Hi guys. Hola mis amores, thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna give it another minute. I'm like literally, I did like a whole setup. So I have my little stand, so I'm actually prepared for you guys. I'm looking all professional and got my little book and stuff because I wrote my notes so I don't forget stuff. I tend to do that. Hola mi amor. Hi guys. Hey. I'm gonna just give it another minute or so. Okay, hold on. Let me pin a comment real quick. Just a second, guys. Okay, let's pin that comment. Just a second here. There's always that one person. Like, do you not have anything to do? Disme. I would definitely not tell you where I live. Oh my god. Okay. We'll just ignore that person for now. Thank you, my love. Thank you. I was saying right before you got on, I'm like, look at me looking all professional for you guys and stuff. I got my little notebook out so I can take notes, and I wrote a bunch of notes today because I wanted to have like a consistent theme as to what we're going to talk about tonight, and I didn't want to forget certain things. So, with that being said, we'll get started shortly. Okay. How are you guys doing tonight? By the way, the live, just so that I can have the opportunity to save it, I'm gonna probably stop it like within 30 minutes. I'm gonna give it, we'll probably take a whole hour to do this, so I hope you guys are ready. Gracias, mi amor. But I'll stop it like at 30 minutes and then get back on, so that way I can save it and hopefully I can put it up on my YouTube channel to share with everybody. Okay, so as we get started, okay, I want to know what are some of the difficulties that you guys are having with, I guess, achieving that self-love. Like, I would honestly like to know. And this is a no judgment zone. So I want you guys to be able to feel comfortable and be honest, because nobody's going to judge you. And if somebody does, let me know, bitch, because we will get it popping. I'm just kidding. I'm not a violent person whatsoever, but I will probably curse somebody out. And let me know if you guys can hear me as well. Quisiera poder entender. Ay, mi amor, I know, I'm sorry. Quisiera poder decirlo todo en español. Tal vez uno de estos días voy a hacer uno en español. Tal vez. Como la mayoría de las personas que me siguen hablan inglés. For those that only speak English, she was saying that she wishes that she can understand the stuff I say. And the problem is that it's difficult, you know, because mostly everybody speaks English nowadays. So it's hard to try to please all audiences. Anyways, let's get started. So for real, before I actually start digging into these subjects, do me a big favor. Go take a quick minute and grab a notebook. Like, for real, I want you guys to go and grab a notebook, a piece of pen, paper, even if you can use your phone. Hi, my love. I love you too. But please grab something, because this is something that I don't want you guys to just tune in just to, you know, have the shit register for a second. I want the shit to actually register for a lifetime for you. So with that being said, grab a quick pen and paper so you can take some fucking notes, so that we won't ever have to have this conversation again, because I'm gonna need you guys to get it together. Okay? So as I was asking, let me know what are some things that you guys feel that are, I guess, holding you back from ultimately feeling that self-love. I'm going to be sharing a lot of information with you guys, so I really hope that you are ready, okay? Self-love took me into my early 30s to understand what self-love was because for the longest I didn't know how to do it. Oh, I absolutely agree with you. I didn't actually get to, well, I think that's the biggest misconception that there is right now, that things like healing, self-love, relationships, like everybody thinks that you're supposed to just find it and boom, problem solved. No, realistically, self-love is something that you have to be consistently working on. Like it's a never-ending journey. You know what I mean? And I think one of the biggest things that people also misunderstand is the fact that even though somebody loves themselves very much, that doesn't mean that they don't go through their off days. You know what I mean? I myself go through the days where I'm like, oh my God, I look like shit, blah, blah, blah. You know, and it's like I keep saying, it's literally a mindset. Because as soon as I start thinking, I guess I started switching that, because I used to try to focus on all my negatives, like, you know, like for example, my problem areas, the things that I find to be my weaknesses, like my flaws, you know, and I'm like, coño, like my arms, you know, my legs, and I have cellulite, I have stretch marks, like I have it all, like, but the reality is that shit is not going nowhere. So what the fuck am I gonna do? Am I gonna focus on all the good things that I have, or am I gonna continuously bash myself for something that's not fucking going nowhere? You know what I mean? So every single day it's literally one choice at a time. You gotta literally decide, okay, am I gonna decide to be positive and speak to myself positively? Or am I gonna be on this end and bash myself, or go online and compare myself to everybody, what everybody has and what I lack? What do you think the smart decision is here? You know what I mean? Even today, like today I thought about it and I'm like, because I usually, India, she knows, I usually come and get like all cute and stuff to do the live, and I'm like, you know what, that would be completely contradicting everything that I am and everything that I strive to be. You know what I mean? I didn't want to come on here, you know, as you can see, I'm covered up, I don't have no makeup on, and I didn't want it, well, I got a gloss on that, but I didn't want it to be one of those where it's like I'm coming on here to portray something, is to speak to you guys about self-love, yet that wouldn't have been my comfort, you know, that wouldn't have been what I would have been happy with, because I would have been over here just trying to fucking glow y toda vaina. No, it's not about that. Hold on, let me read up. You never stop learning how to love yourself. Absolutely. I think ultimately you need to start learning what that perception of love is. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people, for example, that are missing limbs, that are blind, that are, you know, like have so many things that we today take for granted, that, you know what I mean? You would think, and they're the happiest people in the fucking world. And what do you think that they do? They focus on, you know, gratitude, being grateful for what it is that they have. Yo, I don't understand how people have time to get on somebody else's life and just comment random shit. La gente no tiene oficio. Self-love is way better than loving others. Definitely. That's for sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into some of the, like I said, if you haven't grabbed the pen and paper, please do so now so we can get into this. Because this is, like I said, I want this to reside in your head. I want you to implement it in your life in hopes to, you know, possibly change your life in a good way. Okay? Confidence. I have complejo with my body as well. I don't accept how I look. That you don't accept how you look. Okay. Well, that's the first mistake. The first thing that you need to do is accept how you look. Okay, so I'm gonna start getting into my bullet points, okay? And then we'll get into it, and if you guys have any questions, we can stop. Yo ni entiendo. I'm gonna ignore these comments, okay? All right, so the first thing that I have here is basically accept the emotions. And what I mean by that is that, as I was mentioning earlier, you have to accept the fact that you will have good days and bad days. You will have days where you feel, or maybe you see something, or you see someone, you know, like, for example, I have so many little girls that look up to, you know, me, but not because of who I am, which is sad, which is why I decided to sort of change the way that I share my content. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I do the whole modeling thing, but that's just a way to sort of demonstrate a different part of my life. Because I feel like so many little girls admire me for what I look like, and it makes me sad, you know. And the reason being is because I know what it's like to see somebody and be like, oh, body goals, que esto y el otro, que esto y el otro. And, you know, I'm like, why? You should be your own body goal, because ultimately, unless you want to go and sacrifice your body and do all this extra shit to look a certain kind of way, at the end of the day, and I'm going to tell you this, at the end of the day, it's not going to make a difference. Hi, Max. It's not going to make a difference, because guess what? You're not working on this. You're working on this. And you got to understand that this shit right here changes. I'm 30. No, I'm 31. Jesus Christ. I'm 31, but my body has changed. The way that my body reacts has changed. And it's taken me like literally some adapting to do. Because I'm like, pero espérate, no, what's going on here? You know? But it's really about adapting to the emotions, adapting to the fact that it's all in the head. You know, if you focus so much on solely what you are expecting your body to look like, or comparing it to others, you're going to forever be in this vicious cycle to be unhappy and not be satisfied. Okay, so I need you guys to break out of that mentality, and every single day you literally have to make a choice. Like I've always said, happiness is a choice. It might not seem that simple. It's like people are like, oh, well, it's easier said than done. No, bitch, like happiness is a choice. If I was to focus on telling you my story and telling you all the fucking horrible things that I've done, that I've been put through, that I've done to my body, like you would probably be in fucking tears. You know what I mean? But every single day, I don't focus on that. I don't focus what I don't know. I don't focus about, you know, what my body should look like. I just simply take it one day at a time. One day at a time. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Give me one quick second. Let me just put this fan up because, you know, está haciendo calor. Okay. Alrighty. I'm back. I'm sorry about that. Give me a second. Let's adjust here. Okay. Okay. Can you guys see me? Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hold on. Okay. So I'm back. Alright. So that was the first one. Okay. Understanding that you will be inconsistent as far as how you feel about yourself, but what you can be consistent with is what you tell yourself. There's a big difference, okay? Because you can feel a certain kind of way, you know, like especially as women, like when we get our periods, I feel like so I'm like, I feel so blah, nasty, like you know what I mean? Tú te puedes bañar 10 veces and you still feel some type of way, you know, because you just bloated and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? But some people literally act like they're on their fucking period all month. Come on now. Snap out of it. Okay? Anyways, we'll go on to the next. All right. So, this is something that I definitely want to get into with you guys. Okay? Yo, hold on, guys. Let me block whoever this person is because, hold on. Give me 1 second because he's... hide live video. Yeah. Hide. Yes. Okay, he's gone. He was over here requesting to be on my live. Jesus, take the wheel. Okay. All right. So, and this is something that I want to talk to you guys about because it's so important. Let's start at the roots. And what I mean by that is, how were you raised up? Like, how was your upbringing? Because your upbringing and where it all started makes a big difference as to how you sort of end up, in a sense. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, I came from a home, right? My parents and I have two brothers. I have an older brother and a younger brother. So I came from a home where I was basically being bullied by my own brothers. You know what I mean? And honestly, at the time, you don't think of it as bullying because you're just like, oh, they're my brothers. They're being assholes. But honestly, it affects you. You know what I mean? Because they make fun of you and constantly mock you. So in your head, you're like, well, damn, like, are they for real? Like, is this real? You know what I mean? And then another thing that can affect the way that you feel about yourself is, did you have supportive parents growing up? You know what I mean? I did not. Okay? And by what I mean by that is that my mom used, I guess, you know, like, once I started gaining weight and stuff like that, she'll be like, oh, pero tú te, you know, like, Dominicans are very blunt. So they'll be like, oh, pero tú te estás poniendo gorda. Like, I mean, what are you going to do? And it was never like, let me teach you about nutrition. Let me teach you about this. Or, you look absolutely beautiful today. I never, ever received that. As a matter of fact, what did happen was that, unless, like, I had makeup on, you know what I mean? And my mom still does that shit till this day. Like, if I don't have makeup on, my mom be like, ¿Y qué te pasa? Like, asking me what's wrong. I'm like, nothing, Mom. I just don't have makeup on. And she's like, pero damn, you didn't even put a little. I'm like, Mom, I don't need that shit. You know what I mean? So, you know, and it's a mentality. And then you get affected by it, and then you grow up being affected by it. And unless you are mentally strong enough, you're going to implement that same type of character onto your kids. You know what I mean? I know I haven't really shared my kids with this, you know, this page, this Instagram page, because I like to have, you know, separate the two, my personal life and my business profile. But, you know, my kids, anybody that knows my kids know that they are super confident. You know what I mean? My son, no hay ni quien diga. My son is like on a whole other level. He's just, but some people might take it as cocky, you know what I mean? But he's just really, and just like him, I can even use my son as an example. You know, he has braces, so he has his moments where he's insecure. And he's like, Mom, look, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Monkey. That's what I call him. I'm like, Monkey, you are so cute. You know, and I literally, continuously, daily bump my kids' confidence up. I compliment them all the fucking time. I route for them all the freaking time. You know what I mean? So I think that having that and not having that definitely affects how you feel about yourself. I'll look at you guys' comments in a second. You know what I mean? So you have to look at all of these things. And then not only your parents, but also food. I was raised in a home. I was never educated on food. Ever. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know what a salad was type of home that I was raised in. You know, so everything was rice, beans, fried food. Rice, beans, fried food. All the bad shit that you can possibly put into your body, I was putting into my body most of my life. I didn't begin to start educating myself on what was good for me and my body until I was literally maybe my late 20s. So imagine, from the moment that I was born to almost my 30s, my body has been consuming everything that could possibly be terrible for your body, you know? And granted, I can sit here all day and blame my upbringing, blame my parents, which partially I do, but you know what I mean? But ultimately, it's really up to us to want to learn and do better. Because I could have continued that cycle. You know what I mean? But instead, I decided to break it. And I decided that I do not want my kids to be obese. I do not want my kids to suffer. I do not want my kids to get bullied. Because with all of that also comes bullying. Which is why I made that comment about mothers, you know, taking everything that they learn and, you know, breaking those traditions. You know, becoming a different person, not growing up based off of what, you know, what you were raised around. Porque si fuera así, I'd be freaking probably still 300 pounds, freaking unhappy as hell, married to some dude. You know what I mean? So your life can make so many drastic different decisions, but it's really up to you to ultimately make them for yourself. You can justify, you can come up with every excuse, but really what's important is what you are mentally strong enough to do. Hold on, let me read up, guys. Give me just a second, because I don't want to miss it. Your life, the disease of addiction robbed me of even that relationship. Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you. Brought up being ashamed of my body. Put down because I was overweight. Same here. Both parents over criticized. Same here. Picked my body apart. Spanish culture is completely overly focused on women, specifically makeup and hair. Yeah, makeup, hair, everything. It's like, unfortunately, they have, again, it's about breaking that cycle. They have this whole idea of what, you know, their daughters should be like, because they weren't mentally strong enough to break out of that cycle. Again, my mom expected me to, being in a Dominican culture, expected me to sacrifice my happiness to please a man, to end up pregnant, to have, you know, to have children, to be married, and to put up with this man's bullshit because that was my husband. Okay, I'm not saying I ever got married. I'm just saying in general that was my parents' expectation of me, and unless you had that, you were not successful. And I'll put myself as a perfect example with that. I was always a good girl growing up. I was so terrified to do the wrong thing. So imagine everything that you can think of. I was a good girl. I had good grades. Literally never disrespected my parents ever. But the moment that I came out to my parents and told them that I was gay, their whole mentality of me changed. It was like I was absolutely the worst daughter in the world. You know what I mean? They didn't handle it like that at first, but throughout the years, that's how they made me feel. Like I was never enough because I didn't make the decisions they wanted me to make, which broke my heart. You know what I mean? So it was hard because they would also try to brainwash you, you know? Oh, no. And then us Spanish people, let me not even refer to that, but parents in general, like for example, when I feed my kids, I make healthy food. I do not force them to finish the rest of the plate. They eat what they need, what their body needs, and the rest, don't worry about it. In a different culture, or in our culture, you have to serve yourself, or they will serve you, and then you have to consume that whole entire plate till you're done. Because if you didn't, you're ungrateful, and you would just hear it for the rest of your freaking day. You know what I mean? So being impacted by different choices like this clearly eventually leads you to gain weight. It leads your body to change. And the biggest problem with your body is that, you know, you can't, once your body changes, it's merely impossible to bring it back to what it was. And realistically, it never will be. You know, but of course, if you go work out, you can get all buff and cut, blah, blah, blah. But what if that's not what you want? You know what I mean? Hold on, let me read, guys. Diet and nutrition sometimes have cultural bias. A person, yes, I agree. Certain stereotype exists in the Afro-American. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to necessarily make it about a specific culture, because I know we all go through it. Hi, Jenny. Religion also plays a huge part as well. Listen, sexuality is about choice, human nature, and happiness. I agree with you to an extent. Sexuality isn't really a choice. I can choose to be with a man if I wanted to, but I'd be unhappy as fuck. So it's not really a choice. At least I don't see it that way. All right, so let's keep going. Okay, so this is a big one, okay? And I know because I've done it before, so it's okay. But this is something, you're gonna see me completely keep repeating the whole breaking cycles, breaking your mentality, because I want you guys to, hold on, it's getting blurry. I want you guys to focus on what is now. You know what I mean? I know that it's very easy to get in the habit of constantly revisiting the past. That's something that I used to do like all the time. I used to look back at pictures. I used to be like, oh my God, that's how I looked like before my kids. I used to, you know, we spend a lot of time looking at our old selves and comparing our old selves to what we look like now. Oh, I see it all the time. Oh, look at this Throwback Thursday. Oh my God, I look so good. Oh my God, I need to get back on that. Like, that's hypocrisy. Like, if you think about it, it's like, yeah, what are you going to post that for? What are you going to showcase it for? But are you grinding behind the scene though? Like, dime, for attention, unnecessary attention. Dime, pa' qué? You know what I mean? But I get it, because we've all done it. We all do it. But ultimately, one lesson to learn is to stop comparing your body. Stop revisiting your old body. You will never be that again. You will never get to that. Maybe you can be at the same weight, but your body is completely different. So you need to get out of the habit of looking back and comparing what you used to have. And I want to share this like in all aspects of life, because I know that there's a lot of failed relationships as well, where people get in, I've done it, you know, people get into relationships in you know, being hopeful, and they'll try again and try again and try again and try again, because the first beginning was absolutely amazing, but you're so hopeful that it can be that again. It will never be that again. Can it be better? Most likely. But it will never be everything that you're holding on to. So I need you guys to break out of that. Break out of that mentality. You know what I mean? You need to learn how to think of you now. If you need to look at the past, I know a lot of people do it to look at it for motivation, but your only motivation should be what your new body is going to look like. That's it. Like, what do you want your new body to look like? What do you want your new body to feel like? You know? And ultimately, it really just boils down to what you feel about yourself, your train of thoughts. Because, you know, again, like I did on my other self-love video, we tend to sit here and you know, compare ourselves and want our body to look a specific kind of way, and we focus so much on this that we completely disregard what's going up here. Like, completely disregard the importance, hi my love, the importance of what's going up in your head. Because like I said, your body can change a million times, but if you work on how you feel about yourself, no matter what you look like, you will always be happy. you will always be striving to your next level, the next level of who you are striving to be. That's where the focus should be. Not the past, not what you used to look like, not what you used to have. No, the now and the future. Because if you constantly do the cycle of revisiting the past, te vas a joder, mi amor, because, you know, stop getting discouraged. You guys have to understand that unless you educate yourself on what it is to eat healthy, like I said, I threw out there some documentaries so you guys can check it out, because I have to be honest, and I didn't know about most of the stuff that are in those documentaries whatsoever. And my life has changed drastically since educating myself on what's bad for my body, sugar, especially sugar, even though that is like my absolute weakness. But you know what I mean? It's really about balance. And until I took that decision for myself that I'm like, you know what, this isn't right. Like, granted, I can't take back all those freaking basically 20 something years that I treated my body so badly. But hey, maybe if I start now, maybe things will change. Maybe I'll last a couple more years. You know what I mean? To me, life is that worth it, you know? Anyways, let's keep going. So I put that one on there. Okay, hold on. I'm looking at my little bullet points because I took notes. Hold on. Educate yourself. I already spoke about that. Okay, so I wrote this little note, and I'm just going to say it, right? So I said, love has nothing to do, which I know I just spoke about it. Love has nothing to do with the outside. That's why it's called self-love. I mean, I'm going to need you guys to like let that sink in, because so many people have this wrong idea of what self-love is. Like, people think like you gotta love yourself all the time, or that you gotta look yourself a certain kind of way. No, it all boils down to how you think about yourself. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's what you focus on every single day. I'm like legit my best friend. I know I have a best friend, but I'm like my own best friend. Right? And I stand in front of the mirror, and even my kids see it all the time. I stand in front of the mirror and I'm like, bitch, what? Like, yo no puedo contigo hoy. Y me guillo, like, no lie. I literally like boost myself up. I'm like, damn, bitch, you got it. And you don't got makeup on? What? Yes, bitch, you killing it. You killing it today, every day. And no lie, like, it might seem like you know, like arrogance, but when you are in your own secret area, home, you literally got to do what works for you, because nobody's gonna do it. And when I talk about self, that's one of the biggest problems that I've seen as to why people fail at finding self-love, because they forget that it has everything to do with you and nothing to do with the outside world. We wait for validations from our family. We wait for our validations from our relationships. Like, every time that we don't get a compliment or get acknowledged by our partners, we feel some kind of way. You know what I mean? You got to break out of that shit, because it has nothing to do with you. Because they're fucking failing on their end to demonstrate gratitude to your goodness. That's not your fucking problem. Your problem is with you. You know what I mean? Like, just like when I get all dressed up, you know, and I'm going to reference back to some of my relationships, you know, you'll get the typical, oh, why are you getting all dressed up for? Bitch, for me. Like, what? I mean, why not? I'm not over here trying to get attention. I don't even speak to nobody. You know what I mean? I'm trying to look good for me, because at this stage, I want to look good for me. Like, I want to be walking around and feeling like, damn, bitch, you that bitch. You know what I mean? And again, it's like boosting yourself up. And I've been in relationships where, of course, we know how women are. I've been in relationships where, you know, you get in a relationship with somebody that's extremely insecure. they put a whole persona of them, you know, acting like they got self-love on full effect, but no, they're extremely insecure. So what happens when you have somebody that's completely, you know, like, bitch, I got this, and then you have somebody that's insecure? You're going to constantly go like this. It's going to constantly be this. You know why? Because while they're feeling bad about themselves, you're feeling good, and that's where jealousy comes in. What the hell does this bitch got that I don't got? Why? How can that bitch look like that and still not be feeling as bad as I am? You know what I mean? So again, it's a fucking vicious cycle. So unless you know, you take the time to work on yourself consistently so that you don't ever bash yourself or feel bad about yourself, you're gonna forever be waiting for that validation. You're gonna forever let go of yourself. You're gonna forever put yourself in a situation where you are, where the moment that your spouse doesn't compliment you or acknowledge you or anything like that, you're gonna start letting that shit affect you. And it's a given. It's a given. That's something that I had to break myself out of. You know what I mean? And no lie, like I said, bitch, when I would go get all cute, I'm over here taking my selfies, looking all cute, and I'll always get the same thing. Well, like, why you, what? Bitch, don't worry about me. Like, why you bothered because I'm feeling myself? Like, that just says more about you feeling threatened by my awesomeness than me. Or like, no, bitch, like, okay, you don't, I mean, you know. And the biggest problem too is that with insecure people is that you can compliment them all fucking day. You be like, yo, you fine. Yo, you look amazing. Blah, 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 blah. You can give them, man, you can write a fucking song talking about how gorgeous they are. But if up here, they don't feel it, well, they don't think it, sorry. They don't think it, they're going to be like, I mean, it's just because you love me. No, bitch, because you look good. Like, I wouldn't lie to you. You know, so it's literally, hold on, guys. Let me read up. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second to everybody that walked in. Time check, 30 minutes. Oh, we're in 30 minutes in. Oh, you're the best. How the hell did you even? I thought you came in after I said that. Love has nothing to do with the outside. That's why it's called self-love. Absolutely. Write that down. It's like the experiment with a plant that is spoken to positively, opposed to the plant that has spoken to negatively. Yes, I completely agree. Okay, so give me a second, guys. Because of the fact that I want to be able to save this video, I'm going to end the live and hop back in. Okay, so if you want to continue, I have like a couple of more points, and then I want to get questions from you guys. Yes, I do. I did write notes because I have a terrible memory. So throughout the week, when I know I'm doing a live, I like to write any little thing that pops up in my head. I write it down because I don't want to forget. And then after it happens, I'm like, fuck. Okay. So yes, I will be right back in a second. Let me end this live, and if you're still interested in listening, please tune back in. I'll be right back. I'm doing a live, Mom. What happened? No, leave it. I left it on. Hey. Hi. Thank you guys for joining me again. Hi. We in there like swimwear. Thank you for the reminder, because Jesus, si es por mí, yo aquí yuppie, and I will not notice the time. So I appreciate you. What's your name, by the way? Speak through actions. Okay, I'm gonna just give it another second to allow people to tune in. Thank you, boo. If you don't want to say it on here, that's okay. You can just DM me. Oh, okay. Hi, Karen. I wasn't sure. You know, some people are like picky about that. Okay, I'm gonna just give it another second. Okay, I guess we can keep going. All right, so my next bullet is I want to talk to you guys about excuses. Okay, I know we all do it. I think we are more consistent with excuses than actually putting things into work. You know what I mean? And like, where's your focus at? I think that's one of the biggest problems that us as humans, we tend to do. We continuously make excuses for everything, you know? Like I said, I used to do that all the time. I used to blame my parents. I used to blame my relationships. I used to blame my abuse. I used to blame everything that I can possibly think of just so that I didn't want to like own up at the fact that I was like, bitch, why are you so hard on yourself? Why don't you just change your train of thought now? You know what I mean? I honestly couldn't understand that. It honestly didn't make sense to me before. The fact that you can literally make that decision and just stick to it, that never used to register to me for some reason because of that. Because I used to make every excuse in the book just to be able to find an easy way out of making that commitment to myself. You know? So when I say stop making excuses, it's to stop the bullshit. In other words, stop the bullshit. Stop saying why you can't change. Stop holding on to old habits, old behaviors, old eating habits at that. Like, there's so many people, like, for example, I'm pescatarian, right? So I don't eat meat. Of course, in our culture, every time I say that, they're like, ¿Qué? Una dominicana que no come carne. A Dominican that doesn't eat meat. What? You're crazy. Blah, 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 blah. And to me, every time I hear that shit, I'm like, yo, you are so illiterate. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in like in a bashing way. It's like, you are uneducated. You know what I mean? Like, if you actually looked into what meat does to your body, how would it not make sense? You know, to me, it was, when I initially started, it was more about the cruelty as to what they were doing to the animals. That's why I originally stopped eating meat, because I could not believe that I was contributing to that. And of course, you always get those people that are like, oh, well, you're not partaking in the killing. I'm like, but still, when I purchase meat, that's me contributing to the fucking killing. That means I'm supporting you fucking killing cows and all this shit and piglets. Like, once I saw how bad piglets and like little chickens were being treated for my fucking pleasure, because that's one thing that I pointed out the other day, having pleasure over what your body actually needs. I'm like, wow, you're fucking selfish, Marianne. I said that shit to myself. I was like, you're fucking selfish. I'm like, you're so selfish that you'd rather enjoy those couple of minutes of eating the animal. And hey guys, real quick, I'm not trying to convince you guys to turn vegan or not stop eating meat. This is just me telling you guys a reason as to, or a reality check as to the excuses behind, you know, like the excuses that I used to make to myself. Just like how, you know, my body, my weight fluctuates throughout the years. It'll go up, it'll go down based off of what I eat. I'll go ahead and eat junk, and then it's like, okay, Maria, well, you made the decision. Now your body's going to have to pay for it. You know what I mean? But it's all about consistency. But we tend to make excuses for every fucking thing. There's not an excuse for you to not educate yourself. The least I can possibly do is challenge you guys to educate yourself on things you do not know. I'm telling you, it'll make a difference. And this isn't me telling you, okay, you gotta go get a fucking college degree in nutrition. No, I'm not saying that whatsoever. But what I'm saying is that the internet is one of the fucking easiest things to get to that we use every single day. So what are you feeding your mind? Again, it comes back to your mind. What are you feeding your mind? You know, back in the day, the old me, for example, I'll put my Instagram, for example. I used to, you know, of course, worry about bitches, following World Star, because you see all the booty clapping bitches on there. I had like a bunch of irrelevant people that I had no idea who the fuck they were on my Instagram, you know, and eventually I started educating myself and you know, I started changing the way that I think. I started filtering. I always use that keyword, and you will always hear me say that. I started filtering everything. I'm like, okay, is this helping me grow? Is this pleasure? Is this something that's going to actually benefit me? And I literally started just filtering out everything. Everything. Now I only follow motivational people, entrepreneurs. So everything that I aspire, everything that I aspire to be is where my attention is at. And that's how I continue to grow. That's how I continue to be better. I educate myself also based off of others' experiences. I do, you know, I'm not a huge reader of books, but I do read as much as I possibly can. Like, I don't know, I feel like some people use that shit as a fucking excuse to try to look smart all the time. Like, no, bitch, you can educate yourself on vlogs. You can educate yourself on different types of things. Anyways, that's a whole other life. Hold on. Let me read your comments, guys. I don't want to miss them. Let me see. Recap: being consistent with how you feel because feelings are fleeting. Being consistent with what we say to ourselves. How you were raised, upbringing, parents, food. Stop revisiting the past. Look at you. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Our bodies have changed from the last 5, 10, 20 years ago, and we will never look the exact same. Yes. But we could look better, definitely. Train of thought. How do you feel about yourself? Absolutely. Level up to the next level of self-evolution. It's about the now and the future, not the past. Educate yourself on healthy eating and finding balance. Yes. Absolutely. Just have an IG to follow people that will motivate me better. Yes, absolutely. Damn, you guys are keeping up. I love it. I love it. Yes, so these are things, you know, that I wanted to share with you guys because I know that it's not normal for us to even think about. You know what I mean? Like, you don't think about your bad eating habits because your parents didn't educate you on it. You know, unless you're like just old enough to clearly know that. You know what I mean? But it took me, like, being in my 20s to be like, what the fuck were my parents feeding me? You know? And I feel like if I would have paid attention in school, like, you know, because I know that they teach you that shit, like, you should eat healthy, blah, 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 but you don't, when you're in, la antena para, you know, my friend, no, not here, not today. That's why I wanted to coordinate, though, the lives on Fridays. Well, yeah, I'm gonna try to do it every Friday, but I usually do them once they're asleep because I don't want them, you know, listening to certain stuff, you know. Not yet. But this one's not too bad. But hold on, let me go back. Okay. So yes, we spoke about stopping the excuses, and then, you know, it's a matter of you just being ready to start. You know what I mean? Like, the other day when I posted that video on my Instagram story about you educating your kids and all of this. I know there's a lot of moms that follow me. I know that. I know exactly what content I'm putting out. But I also evaluate those that actually take the time to want to do better and want to learn. Because unfortunately, very unfortunately, women are raised, well, women and men are raised in such kind of way that you get stuck in your ways. And anything outside of that box, anything outside of what's been taught to you, you're just like, I don't know. I don't know about that. Or if not, you'll come up with excuses. I don't think I could do that. Well, then don't fucking do it and suffer. You know what I mean? Like, things that I put out to you guys, and this is just on the norm, not only speaking about health-wise and body and self-love, like, this is why I wanted to grow this page. This is why I want to be able to educate people on shit that matters. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's so many people in this life, in this world, that are so focused on, you know, the numbers and all of that for all the wrong reasons. I know so many people that have such huge accounts that they can literally use to change people's lives every single fucking day. Like, you know, if I had an account that had like a fucking million followers, the amount of lives I can change, the amount of suicides I can stop by simply taking an hour of my fucking day. Like, do you guys not think, like, I'm exhausted right now. I was working all day, came home, cooked, did everything, and here I am with you guys. Like, nobody's paying me for it. Shit, some of you guys are probably fucking listening just to listen, and you're probably not gonna implement this in your life, but at the end of the day, I'm not responsible for that. So you know what I mean? So there's like a lot of things that can happen when you focus on what truly matters. And to me, I know what it's like not growing up being educated. I know what it's like not growing up having supportive parents. I have so many girls, like young girls, that look up to me, you know, so it's important to me to guide them in the right path, because I didn't have that. I didn't have somebody telling me like, yo, wake the fuck up. What are you doing with your life? Or don't eat that shit. That shit's gonna fuck you up. Like, just bluntness. You know what I mean? And that same type of character and sense that I do with you guys, that's the same exact way that I am with my kids. And I want to do a live on kids and on what parenting should really be like. You know what I mean? There's so many, let me not even get into that, because that would be like a whole completely other live. But, you know, I want to continue to share with you guys what I know, what I struggle with, and just be completely honest, because like, I don't see that. I don't see that. To be very honest, people nowadays are about their money, about their following, and that's it, you know? And I don't want to be that. I want to be able to accomplish everything. And I want to be able to show you guys that you can have the life that you want as long as you have it up here and you have a lot of fucking gratitude. Because gratitude goes a long way. There's so many people that are so inconsistently happy because they are always worried about the next thing, the next bitch, the next relationship, the next freaking casa, the next car. They're always focused on absolutely everything but what's up here. But the way that I see it is, ultimately, when you boil it down, you can have, vamos a decir que you lose it all tomorrow. Will you be happy? I was actually having a conversation like that with my coworker, because he, you know, he's very lavish. He's actually a straight guy, but he's very fancy. I call him Mr. Fancy Pants. He's very fancy. He was telling me that he only wears Gucci and all those expensive brands. And I was like, oh, you know, because we were talking about shoes. That's how we got into the conversation. And I was like, oh, you know, they have some really nice shoes at Burlington. And he was like, he got offended. He was like, Burlington? He's like, no. He's like, my lowest thing is Aldo. And I'm like, so this, man, my nigga, si tú pierdes todo eso, if you had no job tomorrow, because the guy makes money, if you had no job tomorrow, your house burned down, God forbid, and all of that, you would be one miserable motherfucker. You really would. because your focus isn't about being happy. Your focus is about being happy. You know what I mean? It makes a big difference. Hold on. Let me look. Let me look at what you guys are saying. Sorry, I don't want to miss anybody's stuff. This live is so valuable. I wish this type of forum was around 10 years ago. Thank you for being open and courageous, you know, to live and doing your part. Of course, my love, of course. And that's the thing, you know, that's originally why I started my organization, because I wanted to do things differently, you know. And I know that a lot of people were like, well, there's other nonprofit organizations out there that help, you know, that help, you know, like that help abuse victims or help people that are homeless and all that. I'm like, yes, but they don't do it with this heart though. You know what I mean? They don't do it with this heart. It's one thing for you to go and fucking try to make this huge organization and fucking be worldwide. But if you cannot give individual attention to people, and trust me, it gets hard, it gets exhausting. I've had to balance it throughout my life because I was becoming emotionally unstable, because I would hear everybody's stories and they would affect me. They would affect me to the point where I'm like, fuck, you know. So sharing my story and hearing people's story taught me how to be more grateful, because I thought my life was bad. But when I listen to other people's stories, like, this is why I always speak about being open and blunt about who you truly are, no matter what your past is. Realizing how bad other people had it made me have that epiphany where I would bad talk myself. I'm like, bitch, you're ungrateful as fuck. You're alive. You're healthy. You got a roof over your head. Like, snap out of it. Get it together. Get it together. Hold on. Believe that this is just the beginning, love. Everyone has 1 million followers started here. Well, and honestly, it's not even about the 1 million followers, because you can have, and this is why numbers are irrelevant to me. Although my account is growing, I'm happy. But why I'm happy, and I think that people are getting it wrong, why I'm happy is because I'm being introduced to new people that actually care. You know what I mean? Like, people that actually care. Like, what was it, like a week ago I mentioned that I was going to do this live? There's like, what, couple of people watching this live? So these couple of people, like 5, I'm showing 5 right now, are what matter to me. I don't care about the 1,000,001 that come back and watch this shit later. I don't care about the millions that missed it, because ultimately I'm still here. I care about the fact that I'm impacting you. And like, I mean that in all aspects. That makes me feel so much better. That makes me feel amazing. I'm like, yay, I did another good deed for the day, you know? And I just feel like it's so important to feel like you want to do good and be good, because there's so much bullshit, hatred, and just like, especially between us women, there's like so much competition and fuckery. Like, it drives me absolutely nuts, which is why I have to balance my life with, you know, social media and my goals and all of that. So that's the number that I care about. The people that tune in, learn from me. Even those that see my stuff, consume it, and don't tell me shit about it. You know what I mean? I've had so many people that take my material, my lessons, they'll share it forward and not give me credit for it. And I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. It used to be one of those things that used to bother me. But I'm like, you know what? They learned it. Doesn't matter how the information gets forwarded, it's being forwarded, you know. Let me just share this with you guys. I guess I'm just, ouch, sorry, Jesus, I hope you guys didn't see nothing. I didn't notice I did that. I've always had like this really strong belief since I was a little girl. Hold on, let me make sure I focus this. Since I was a little girl, that I was born to do something with my life. Like, I was born to be different. I was born with a gift You know what I mean? And I'm getting a little emotional, which is weird. I guess because I haven't really done a live and spoke about it. But I've always felt that way. And I used to have like this really bad misconception of what that was. I'm sorry. What that was. And when I first started my organization, I thought, like, my mentality was like, I want to go down in history as somebody. And of course, when you think of going down in history as somebody, you think, oh, you know, you end up on TV, you end up here, you end up there, you know, and ultimately I was going to be super happy and it literally took me chasing all the wrong things to realize why I was not there. And when I first started my organization, of course, you know, my mind was like, oh yeah, I want to end up on Ellen. I want to do this. I want to do that. Keep in mind that I've already been on TV. I've already been interviewed by 2 different, news TV stations. I've already had several radio interviews. Like, I've done and accomplished so much. And I used to always feel the need to constantly have an event and do this just because I wanted to prove, like, to people that I wanted to do good. You know what I mean? Like, as crazy as that sounds, I wanted to so badly prove that to the fucking world. And no matter how successful my organization got, I always felt like it wasn't enough, and I had to literally take some time to reflect and think, like, and it literally took me shutting down. Give me a second. I'm sorry, guys. This was definitely not planned. It literally took me shutting down and almost quitting on my dream because I felt like nobody was being supportive, you know? And I used to think to myself all the time, I'm like, there's nobody out here like actually helping people. So how can I help? And every time that I reached out for help and people just weren't willing to help, I'm like, do we really live in such a cold world? And I started getting discouraged. I started getting discouraged and thinking like, nobody gives a fuck, you know? Everybody's so focused on themselves that nobody really gives a fuck. So I shut down, and at the same time I was also going through a breakup, and I started losing the urge to want to continue to do my events and all of that, because I'm like, nobody gives a fuck. And believe it or not, guys, it was actually the people that I took my time when I didn't even have it, the people that I took time to speak to, share my story with, educate, they would always reach out to me randomly, you know, because I don't always have the time, but I always try to make the time. They would randomly reach out to me and be like, what's going on? When are you doing the project again? And, you know, and I just started getting like that feedback, and they're like, what the hell's going on? And I'm like, yo, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? Like, my idea of what I thought going down in history was so fucking wrong. And it took me admitting that to myself to realize that I had it all wrong. I was already going down in history by sharing my story. I was already going down in history by spreading awareness and talking to people about shit that can possibly change their child's life. Me sharing that part of me even speaking to you guys, can ultimately change the way your kids are raised, whether you have kids or not. If you don't have kids, great. You're getting me just on time. You know what I mean? But that to me was like my biggest reality check. And that's when my whole life and like mindset changed. I'm like, bitch, you're already going down in history with your story. You know, so that was something that I had to realize, that it wasn't about putting myself out there or making sure that I'm on TV or making sure this is that. No, I was individually impacting people, changing their life, breaking their cycle. I had a conversation with somebody today, a man, and we were having lunch and stuff like that. One of my coworkers, we were having lunch, and literally I was sitting there, and I don't know how the conversation even started. I started speaking to him about my abuse, you know, and next thing you know, he's like, it's crazy that you mentioned that. I would have never thought that from you. And I'm like, I know, I get that all the time. And he was like, I was molested when I was 3 years old by another man. And I think he was expecting a different reaction from me. And I was like, tell me about it. And we just started talking. And as we were on our way back to work, he says to me, you know, I've never told anybody. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. I'm sorry, you guys. I needed a quick second. Sorry, I wasn't expecting to go into this, but I think I needed it, honestly. So, when he told me that he had never told anybody, keep in mind, I believe he's like 33. Honestly, it just broke my heart. And he just goes to me, how do you get over it? You know, I'm like, man, I can only imagine the pain the guilt he's probably feeling and going through. And he just doesn't know that you just need to let that shit out. He was like, I didn't even, like, what's crazy though is that when I told, you know, I shared, of course, a couple of facts with him about abuse and stuff like that. He had no idea about it. He didn't understand that it's a repetitive cycle. You know what I mean? Like, when somebody abuses or touches a child, you're not their only victims, you know? And that was one of the biggest things that made me change my mind and my train of thought when I was first starting my organization. I'm like, if I don't speak up and educate people on this, people will never, you know, because granted, we struggle so much through life, period, that we never really take the time to analyze the small things. Like when I shared my story with my family, yes, they turned their back against me, all of them, which I expected because I have a shitty family. But with me sharing my story, I knew that the people in my family that had kids would now be cautious about leaving their kids unwatched, leaving their kids around our family because of that, because of me sharing my story. So I was willing to be ridiculed, to not be believed, to get everybody turned their back on me, just to prevent those kids from ever going through what I went through. And so yeah, anyways, I went completely off topic. This was, I guess, has to do a lot with self-love. And if you missed the beginning of the live, originally I was talking about roots. I noticed that a lot of my self-love lacked from the fact that my abuse had a lot to do with it too. And the reason why I say that is because most of my life I had people taking advantage of my body, and in a way that I didn't know how to appreciate it or love it for what it was. But and believe it or not, which is crazy, and I'm gonna share this with you guys, believe it or not, even in relationships, it affected me in a sense to where I was limiting myself forever because of my abuse. Like, it literally took me being an adult to be able to feel comfortable enough to take my shirt off completely in front of my significant other. Not a lot of people know that. As confident as I was like a shell. I didn't want nobody to see it. I didn't want nobody to judge it. And again, it boils down to being focused on all of the wrong things. So it literally took me even being open to a lingerie shoot. Like, you would think the extremes. You would think you would do something slowly, or I don't know, like like just buy some lingerie or something like that. No, like, my thought was, okay, let me just do a fucking photo shoot. Like, who thinks that? But that was like my ultimate, like, proof to myself that it wasn't about who I was with. It wasn't about my past. It was about who I was then and there. And I did whatever I needed to do to make me feel comfortable and put myself out there. And it wasn't not even to demonstrate my goodies to the world. It was more like, whoa, you don't understand what it took for me to get there, you know? So I wanted to share that. And I know a lot of people don't understand or aren't used to somebody just being extremely blunt about themselves or who they are. But I know nothing else. And that goes back to the whole self-love thing. If you constantly wait on validations and constantly expect people to love you for who you are and what you look like, that you get into this habit of, you know, expecting that validation or needing that validation from somebody. So you're going to, if you are constantly doing that, expecting that, you're going to forever be in this cycle of feeling empty because you are so fucking worried or or feeling like you're constantly missing somebody to tell you that you're beautiful. Somebody to tell you like, no, that's okay. Those stretch marks are okay. The chichos are okay. Like, bitch, they're there. They're not gonna go nowhere unless you go and fucking disappear. Like, there's a lot of stuff that us women, we, you know, like, even me, like, I'm gonna talk to you guys about like my personal insecurities that used to get the best of me and sort of still do, but I try to do my best again to focus on the good. Like, after surgery, after I had my gastric sleeve, I lost a lot of weight. So therefore, I have a lot of excess skin, you know, flappy arms. I have the flappy inner thighs, which I fucking hate. Like, I hate it. Despise it. You know what I mean? Because it prevents me from, you know, quisiera yo wear a two-piece and, you know, just flaunt it. Like, believe it or not, I look up to the women that own the shit out of their body. To me, that's motivation. It's not them little skinny bitches that be flaunting their little tiny selves. No, it's those women that flaunt every flaw they have and are like, bitch, what? You know what I mean? I look up to women like that because I'm like, one day. You know what I mean? So it's okay to have those mixed emotions. It's okay to, you know, but it's really boils down to what you focus on. I was not going to let that negative train of thought behind my arms stop me from feeling good. I was not gonna let the fact that I can't really wear shorts like a normal person. I can't really wear tank tops like a normal person. I can't. I cannot. Yeah, somebody else can. But me personally, it's my story, my life, my body. I can't. So I limit myself from what I know I can and cannot do. So by me doing that, I flip it around. I flip my mindset and I'm like, okay, so then let me do what I can do. Let me work with what I can work with. And you would never think. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are like, oh my God, I love your confidence, blah, 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 blah. Listen, my confidence is all up here. It's not really about my body. It's not about what I look like. I can portray a completely different person to you guys. I can portray this perfect, and that is not me, because that's not fucking real. So I need you guys to stop fucking comparing yourselves. Stop worrying about, oh my goodness, what she got, what she got. No. Yo, be a fucking sponge. That's what I challenge you to do. Be a sponge. Take all that shit in. And don't just take it in to take it in. Like, don't let that shit go in one ear and out the other. No, take it in and use it to change your life for the better. That is my absolute hope for you guys. Hold on. Let me read up, because I don't wanna miss the comments. Okay, let me read up. I'm sorry, guys. Well, I say sorry because I wasn't, like, that completely caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting to break out in tears like that. Yeah, I cut off the live intentionally. He was able to stand in his truth because of who you were being, authentic and courageous. This validates a person in such deep and profound manner. Believe it. You impacted him as much as he did you. Absolutely. Hold on, guys. Let me catch up. Oh, girl, you missed it. I was like bawling. I started just like bawling. Thank you, love. I appreciate it. Yeah, I stopped, you know, like I said, I stopped negatively talking to myself, which helped me out a lot. That's why you don't see me have bad days. I'm just like, fuck it. You have to enjoy life, man. And the craziest part of everything, guys, and I speak so, like I said, this is my truth, you know. Part of my story is that I'm a suicide survivor. And literally it took every negative thought, everything in my past, like it all just boiled down to one, to the point where I was like, la vida, like life just isn't worth it. Like this pain just isn't worth it, you know? And it literally took me waking up from that to realize that God had given me a second chance. And literally, it's almost as if he was like, no, bitch, you're not done. And I'm like, why? You know what I mean? Yeah, one of them, I'm like, why? Just let me fucking go, you know? But in that same instance, I'm like, you're right. I got work to do. And ever since, I've just changed my life drastically, been living my truth, been being grateful, and just focusing on everything positive. Just because I know I have the power to change my life. I have the power to be happy. Like, that's a personal choice. And every single day, you will find me in that mirror. Literally, like, damn, bitch, you fly. You look cute. And it doesn't matter whether I'm in PJs or what. Or whether I'm all dressed up. I give myself the same amount of props. Like, bitch, it's you. You need to. You need to. At the end of the day, you need to. I'm like, I want her confidence. Yeah, it took me so many years to even get to this level, but honestly, it was just because it took me that long to accept it, if I have to be honest. You know, there was a lot that I knew. We all know that we shouldn't be negatively talking to ourselves. We know all the crap we shouldn't eat to take care of our body. We know. That's the crazy part. We fucking know. But we take no action. Or if not, we come up with a million excuses. Therefore, we're stuck. So I started changing all of that. And I started taking care of myself from within first. And man, when I tell you, when I decided to do that, that shit was a fucking game changer. It didn't care what I look like. That's why I always say, like, don't focus on the numbers. Don't focus on what you look like yesterday or a fucking month ago, that you were 20 pounds lighter. Don't focus on that, because you will forever be stuck. You got to focus on the now. Like, I'm going to make a decision, a choice right now that's going to benefit me tomorrow or a couple of hours from now. Not even, you know, that's one thing that I've also learned to do that I want to share with you guys. I've learned to not set myself up for expectations. And what I mean by that, you know how people have like these, oh, people be like, so what do you plan to do in 5 years? What are your goals? Bitch, let me make it to next year. Then we'll talk about what I'm gonna do next year. You know, life is too fucking short. Or if not, like, oh no, comienzo la dieta el lunes, I'll start the diet Monday. Or no, oh yeah, my New Year's resolution is to lose 50 pounds. What if you don't make it to your New Year's resolution? Dime, what are you gonna do then? Nothing. So I changed that mentality, like, completely. No, I'm focused on today. Today I made good, healthy choices. Today I took care of me. Today I look good. Today I accept and love my body. And that's what it is today. And guess what? Tomorrow, you'll start that shit all over again. And that's literally what it has to be. Every single fucking day. Every single fucking day. And you might think like, oh yeah, that might be exhausting. No, bitch, being unhappy is exhausting. Constantly doubting yourself, constantly making yourself feel bad, constantly waiting for somebody to fucking tell you you're beautiful, constantly validating yourself by likes and fucking comments and all of this shit. That's exhausting. Like your mind will be drained so fucking quick, and that's why people are insecure. Because you're focused on all the wrong shit. And I'm going to tell you that right now. You're focused on everything that is fucking wrong. Well, not wrong, but that you shouldn't be. Hold on, let me catch up on comments. It's on the inside what counts, because we all get old. Yeah, for sure. And it's like I say, you know, like a lot of people are like, you know, when it comes to eating healthy, people always get the, oh, but healthy food is so expensive. Listen here. It's not going to be that, it's not going to be as expensive as you paying for fucking medical bills when you got diabetes, you got high blood pressure, and who knows what else is going to fucking pile up on top of the fact that you're putting straight up toxic shit into your body. So I'd rather invest now, and then on top of that, I want to teach you guys how to freaking shop wisely. Like, to me, that makes no sense. Like, you don't go and shop for healthy food at like fucking Publix. I don't know what you guys have around you, but I mean, yeah, I buy a couple of stuff there, but you guys gotta find like natural stuff. Like, there's this place here in Orlando. Oh God, I don't know why I just disclosed that. Jesus Christ. Hopefully there's no crazy people on here right now. There's shops, places where you can go and buy bulks of vegetables and different types of fruits and stuff like that for mad cheap. For mad cheap. So if you are here, let me know if you need to know where that place is, and I can tell you. Because it's really not that bad. And then on top of that, people want to bitch about paying for healthy food, yet you go and spend fucking $30, $40, $50 for one fucking meal every time you go out to eat to a fancy restaurant. It's all about priorities, boo. Hold on, let me read up. I get it. I was kind of like insecure, like a insecurity you had about yourself and taking photo shoots. Is loving yourself. I get it totally. You're beautiful, and building yourself is a lot of work, but you always gotta be positive, of course, and you just gotta be consistent. That's the thing, you know. Focus on the positive. Man, I have stretch marks. I don't care. I have stretch marks. I have cellulite. Like, it sucks because because of the weight loss, I have cellulites like all over my thighs, like my thighs, my booty cheeks, everywhere. Nah, what? ¿Qué vamos a hacer? ¿Qué vamos a hacer? What we gonna do? Nothing. Just work with what you got. Thank you, love. This girl, of course, the enemy wanted to take you because of the lives you're meant to touch. Absolutely. Even the skinniest and pretty girls have insecurities, but I always say it. One day at a time, you're beautiful inside and now, and I think the most beautiful thing in a person is the way they grow within. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's one of the biggest things, like that also has a lot to do with, you know, the whole comparison. Like, you see these women that look absolutely stunning, that have it all, especially like these big Instagrammers y toda esta vaina, but you would never know the amount of insecurities they have, and you would never know the amount of energy that they have to put in just to portray something to you guys, just to portray this perfection, to portray this fantasy, to portray this body. You don't understand how exhausting that is. It's exhausting and it's mentally draining. Therefore, that's why there's a lot of people, especially even celebrities, not only about being physical, but being money and putting shit out there, that commit suicide. Because it doesn't matter how much they have, they are never content. They are never happy because they have an image to keep up with. So trust me, you do not want to look up to anybody, like anybody, you know, and I mean that with all honesty. I'm not even say sit here and look up to me. But what I do challenge you to do, guys, is to challenge yourselves to want a better life, to want better, to want to do and be better. Not for the world, not to prove anything to me, but to prove it all to yourself. and understand that it doesn't matter where you come from, how you were raised, you know, what you're currently around. You can still make that decision and the choices to drastically change your life around. I always talk about not giving a fuck. There's actually this video that I watched a couple of months ago that I absolutely love. It's called The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And I'm like, oh my God, she said everything I wanted to say. Like, this makes so much fucking sense. I'm like, I live this. This is what I do right now because I don't give a fuck. And and I loved it. So if you guys want to watch it, let me know. And I think I might still have the link and I'll send it to you. But it's fucking absolutely amazing. And it's really that, the art of not giving a fuck. You know what I mean? And like, your life changes drastically when you eliminate family, you eliminate friends, you eliminate even social media. Because like I tell you guys, that's why I'm very particular as to who I follow, because I'm not gonna follow you just because you follow me. What are we gonna gain from that? No, I think beyond that. You know what I mean? You show consistency, or I can learn something from you, by all means. By all means. So I'm very particular as to my little happy bubble. Very particular. And as even seeing me like this, guys, I can count the amount of people or friends that I have. Believe it or not. I know a lot of people. A lot of people know me. But me actually having people in my life, couple. And my family, I see maybe once in a blue. And I couldn't be fucking happier. Because people have this big misconception that, oh, you got to be popping. You got to have mad friends. You got to pop bottles every weekend. No, man, you're fucking wasting your life away on bullshit relationships, on bullshit opinions from your family, on getting advice from fucking people that don't even got their life together. Like, no, I don't want that for you guys. So if I can share a little bit of knowledge and you guys actually implement that, oh my God, that was so white of me. You got this. Hold on, let me read up. Can you see my boobs? You can see this though. Let me block this fool real quick. Hold on, guys. Hide, block, bite. Day by day. Hold on, let me look. Farmers markets, yes, for sure. Farmers markets are the place to go. She said, "Got a plane ticket." Stop. I wish, you know, that's like one of my, I think I've spoke about that before, like creating a tour, because I already speak at schools. I know there's a lot of people that don't know like my past. I've spoke at elementary and high schools already, and I used to do monthly empowerment sessions, and I was consistent with it for a while, but like I said, I had that moment and I stopped. But I'm actually in the works of putting it back on, because I love it. I love like having, just meeting new amazing people and just talking, you know. I feel like people are so consumed with what friends should be that we get consumed with such a small circle of individuals and we don't fucking grow. And that's why I am so particular, because I'm like, okay, there's not a lot of people like me or that think like me, so I'm gonna just keep pushing on my own, you know. And then eventually amazing people come into my life, and you know, we build, we blossom, and still at the end of the day, I keep, there's this balance, you know what I mean, between those that I actually let close to me and those that are just, you know, acquaintances. There's a big difference between the two. And I definitely want to do a live on friendship. Like, I have a bunch of lives already written down that I want to do with you guys, just to share different aspects of life. Hopes to help you guys see things like on somebody else's train of thought. We love dimples. Saludos, hola. Okay, let's read this one out loud. I'ma suck your ass so hard that you will bust in. I really wish I knew how people have this much time on their hands. Like, I don't understand. Let's block him too. Hold on, guys. Just a second. Hide story. Yes, definitely hide from that person. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Just reported the comment. Thank you, guys. I have to go, love. My son's bedtime. Thank you so much for sharing. Of course, love. I like to tell mean people to fuck off. I did too. Hold on. Okay. All right, my loves. So that about sums things up. I would apologize for, well, I was apologizing, but then I caught myself for breaking down on you guys. But I don't, because like I said, I'm not perfect, nor do I portray to be. And I think that emotions are one of the realest shit ever. And I feel like every time that you feel like you gotta fucking cry, just let that shit out. Just let that shit out. Because holding that shit in isn't gonna fix, solve, or make anything better. So, I feel like I needed that. I guess I needed a vent a little bit, even though you guys are strangers. But, yeah. Good night, guys. If you guys just tuned in, feel free to check out the beginning of the live where we talked a lot about self-love and different thoughts and train of thoughts. I already said that. All right, so clearly I'm beyond tired. I'm becoming oblivious now, like, ooh. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I hope you guys wake up tomorrow morning. Go look in that mirror. All of you, each and every one of you, go look in the mirror and literally pep talk yourself. And if you need me to send you a video, like just with my voice, I'm like, yes, bitch, like, y'all. You know, somebody said that shit to me once because I had posted like a funny Snapchat and I was like boosting up nobody, apparently. And they were like, bitch, I wish I had a ringtone like that. And I was like, bitch, you just gave me an idea. Like, yes, bitch, look at you. Like, you are beautiful. You are handsome. You got the shit. You got a good ass heart. All these niggas can look good all they want, have their six pack, but that heart, hunty, that heart can only get better. That heart can only grow. So that's what I want you guys to focus on. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until the next live. Hopefully I won't break down then. Good night, guys.